Hi, this is Jamie with Paper Compulsions. I wanted to show you some of the techniques that I use and give you some alternatives if you don't happen to have those tools. I use a stylus to emboss with. I usually go in large circles and then work into smaller circles on the petals. If you don't have that, you can use the rounded end of a Sharpie marker and do the same thing, or if you have a marker that just has some type of rounded end, not just completely flat, you can do circular motions on that. I also talk about if using my needle tool to shape petals, where I put the needle tool behind the petal, my thumb on top, hold the center of the flower with my other hand, and while I'm putting pressure on the tool with my thumb, I slide out. Or sometimes I'll also do it in reverse, where I have the needle tool on the top, my finger in back, and slide up to curl the petal up. If you don't have a needle tool, you can use a bamboo skewer that you would do shish kebabs with. If you don't have that, you could use an end of a paintbrush. I just find I get more control with my needle tool, and since I do a lot of flowers, it's worth it to me to use that. I also show a technique where I put the needle tool in the center and put pressure on the back with my finger and roll from left to right, side to side. It's hard to do it slow, like this. If you can't quite get the hang of that, you could put it on a round, thicker end and curve it around like that. You don't get quite as much control with that later with my really detailed flowers, but it works for most of the flowers. You could do the same thing with the bamboo skewer or your paintbrush. And kind of roll it around. Sometimes if you want to have a really tight roll, you can start at the beginning, the thicker part of your paintbrush, then slide it down to the middle and roll it around, and it curves your petal for you. Sometimes I will say to curl the ends of something. If I put the needle tool at the very tip of the flower and take my thumb, and I'm just putting pressure on the petal with my thumb so that the end curves over the tool like that. Sometimes you'll see that I just grab it, put pressure on, and turn my wrist and bring it down. If you had a bamboo skewer, you'd be doing the same thing, it just wouldn't be as tight. Or a paintbrush. I'll also show a technique where I am curling the two ends of the petal, and I wrote marks on here so you could see where I put the tool. It's behind it, but I did marks where you could see where it's going. It's starting from the middle of the petal and going to the side, and I put the tool behind the petal and just with my finger or thumb press it over to curl the edge. Then I do the same thing on the other edge, from the middle to the side, and curl it over with my thumb, or sometimes I'll use my wrist and curl over, so that on this petal I curl it over from the middle to that edge, then I go from the middle to this edge and curl it over, and I get a really nice point to my flower. These petals will have those points, and these petals will have those points. Let's see. Like this. These petals will all have those points to it. Sometimes I'll say to cup the flower, and what you do is take a stylus or your Sharpie, and you're going to go in small circular motions with the tool up and down perpendicular. and make small circular motions to cup the petal. Or if you have stamen or calyx, these are calyx, and you'll just circle in the very center and it cups it up for you. So those are just a few of the techniques. Oh, let me show you a few more. When turning the petals, you could also take tweezers and grab the tip of the petal and curve down. I know a lot of books and instructions that I watched did that, but it usually gives you a really harsh bend in the paper right there, and I don't like that. I would rather use my stylus, but if you like that look, go for it. Also, with the tip of a petal, if you're going to curl it out, you can grab the tip like this and curl it down, or if you're going to do the tip inwards, you curl it in. And for the roses, I take the petal and I rock it side to side. If that doesn't work for you with a needle tool, you can start from the center and press and just come off this side, then turn it around, start from the center, press, and come off that side. Or start from the center, press, and come up that side, turn it over, press with your thumb and come over that side, and it will curl your petal for you. Sometimes you can put your finger in the middle of the petal, and with your thumb and index finger, your thumb and pointer finger, you can curl it around your finger. Sometimes you're going to put your thumb at the base of a petal and bring it up just to curl your petals the way you want them to go. Sometimes I'll also say to bring it straight up and then put your finger at the base, your thumb on top, and bring it out like that. Another way to achieve that same look is to bring it up and curl it around a paintbrush. So play around with different tools and different techniques and see what works for you. Thanks. Bye.